Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's look at the function. F of x equals x cubed plus x plus 3. And what we're asked to find here is we're asked to find the real zeros of this function. The minute you see approximate your answer to 4 decimal places, you're probably guessing that you need to use your graphing calculator. First of all, using the quadratic formula is not going to work because this is not a quadratic, it's a cubic. So it's a pretty good hint that we need to graph this. So what I'm going to do is I'm pulling out the graphing calculator, and if you can see here, as best I can show you, I've got the function y equals x cubed plus x plus 3, okay? And I'm going to graph it. And what I can see, here we go. I'm trying to show you that it crosses the x-axis one time. Remember, the x value where a graph crosses the x-axis is referred to as a real zero of the function. And the reason that should make sense to you is if you put that x value into the function, you would come out with y equals 0. So a real zero of a function is an x value that makes the y value 0, i.e., a real zero is a place where is the x value where an x-intercept occurs. Now, to find that, what I do on a graphing calculator, I hit second function trace, which takes me to the calculate menu. I pick option 2, which is 0. Now, first thing it wants me to do is to set my left boundary. So if you'll notice I move the spider. See, I move the spider to the left of where the graph crosses the x-axis, and I hit enter. Now I'm asked to enter the right boundary, so I'm going to move my spider to the right of where the graph crosses the x-axis. And come back calculator. Here we go. Okay, so there's my right boundary. I'm going to hit enter. And now it wants me to enter a guess. So I'm going to put my spider as close to the 0 as possible and hit enter. And now when I read down on the bottom of my calculator screen, see what it says? I'm trying to get you good, but it's a little blurred on this machine. But anyhow, let me read it to you. It says the 0 of the function is, and this is where I'm going to get my answer. X is approximately, and it wants my answer to 4 decimal places. X is approximately a negative 1.2134. And that is my approximation. So basically what my steps were, I drew the graph. I went to second function trace, which is really the calculate menu. And I picked option 2. I set my left bound. And I hit enter. I set my right bound. And I hit enter. And then I guessed, which means I put my spider right on or as close to the x-intercept as I could, and I hit enter, and then you read your answer. One of the things I notice my students sometimes is they have a hard time telling which one is the left bound and which one is the right bound. So what I teach my students to do is if they have a graph that looks like this one did, okay? And you're trying to find the 0, which is right here, I have my students draw an imaginary vertical line through the 0. Anything to the left of that line on the graph is a left bound, that's what I mean by LB, and anything to the right of that line on the graph is a good right bound, which I'll call RB. So sometimes drawing that imaginary vertical line, I mean, don't make it imaginary. Draw the stupid thing. Look at it so that you don't mess it up on a calculator. The left bound, the right bound, and your guess, of course, goes right on the 0 or as close as you can get. Okay, there's your procedure.